Listen. So with all the streaming services out there, I want to rank them in order of which is the best bang for your buck, especially according to everything that came out in April. I want to highlight some of the best movies that are playing on each, and hopefully put some new things on your watch list. So shout out to Grammarly for sponsoring this video, because at this point, we're paying for a new subscription like every day of the month, and it doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. Let me explain. So for April, and really most of the year, the best streamer in my opinion was HBO/HBO Max/whatever it's called internationally. From the premieres alone, I think they're providing some of the biggest movies to see from your couch, and I personally really dug Godzilla vs. Kong. I was there rewinding it back and forth to see win, because didn't stand a chance, and what do you know?
And they're the last ones standing. I keep reaching for greatness because I'm built from.
They also had their new Max comedy sci-fi series that follows Kristen Miliotti's character, who gets swooned by a tech billionaire who's creating a brain implant that's supposed to help couples read each other's minds 24/7.
Together, we will become a singular living God.
I want it out, and I want a divorce.
It does drag a little bit at times for my taste, but it still serves up a lighthearted Black Mirror concept, and where I don't mind seeing Miliotti on screen, and I loved Raymond, who plays her father. They even had this man covering Beyonce in the trailer. HBO Max also had a new show called Generation that follows a group of high school kids in Orange County who are exploring different aspects of their lives that tend to go against their parents or even the school's narrative. It does get extremely cringy at times, but I think Justice Smith killed it in the role, and he carries the show. And because it's a Max original, I'm realizing that to them, it's not quite HBO material, but at the same time, it is a little bit above CW. White Eye is also streaming on HBO, and it was one of my favorite shorts during last year's virtual festival run. It's a story revolving around a stolen bike that actually happened to the director, and he shot it all in one take to build up on the anxiety that he felt in that moment. They had the lead learn Hebrew for the part, and at the end, they ended up scoring an Oscar nomination.
Holy Dora Milaje?
It's a black lady jury honor.
A Black Lady sketch show is back, and it's my favorite HBO stream of April. I had the chance to screen the entire second season, and in my opinion, the jokes are just as witty, the cameos are crazier, and for a sketch show, they're really starting to build up on some continuity and plot. HBO also had several other doc-series. There was Mark Wahlberg's vlog, practically, that follows his business ventures, from the clothing stuff that he's working on, his Wahlburgers, energy drinks. And I'd completely forgotten that this man had produced McMillions. Definitely go watch McMillions. Our Towns is an adaptation from the book that follows journalists James and Deborah Fallows throughout America to capture different communities and how they come together. And then there was the inverse of that, which was the Q show that they had, which follows the rise and power of 8chan, what it spawned, and the kookiest characters I've ever seen interviewed.
I have a question. You're going through a possible list of who Q might be.
That's right. You're on the list.
Well, let's continue then.
But my LME question to you for HBO is, should I be watching the Nevers? Hulu gets my second spot since they've been stacking their service with Neon Selections, which is a great studio, and a lot of Oscar noms and winners, so there's plenty to catch up on with the service. They premiered the feature, The United States vs. Billie Holiday, and Andra Day went on to earn herself several nominations and even win for her performance, even though I felt the movie was This Telluride doc definitely isn't the definitive take on the icon, but it does take you through her life by way of journalist Linda Kuhl's tapes that she recorded throughout the 1930s. It didn't need to focus so much on the journalist, in my opinion, because I think it kind of detracts from the overall story of the icon, but it was cool to see restored footage of her shows and the insights from some of the closest people to her that I think make it worth the watch. Sasquatch is a 3-episode miniseries that premiered at South by Southwest that investigates these grisly murders that have happened out in the woods that people attribute to Bigfoot. It's slow at first, but it kept my interest enough that by the 3rd episode, they dropped the hammer on this. It's produced by the Duplass brothers, and note, there is also an upcoming mockumentary that covers a similar territory, but in a comedic way, as it parodies Vice and Complex, so yeah, just know that there is a lot of Bigfoot media coming your way. Zappa comes from director Alex Winter, who approached Zappa's wife and got permission to document his life as blunt as possible, and I think he does a great job at documenting and compiling the important clips of his career that show his dedication to his work, as well as all of the internal conflicts he was going through. Personally, I've always heard of him as a rock star, but they dive deep into how this man was a composer through and through. He never wanted to be a business, but he was always fighting for the freedom to just be able to make his art, and I love the segments where they covered his fight against censorship, because he wasn't even making music at that time when he was in front of Congress. He was just fighting for the rights of other creatives.
It's time for a revolution.
Aida was a standout drama about a 1995 true story that happened in Bosnia. It follows a translator for the UN whose town gets taken over and family is displaced as they seek seek shelter amongst all the chaos. It was Bosnia's submission to the Oscars, and it scored a nomination for Best International Feature. The director herself has related to it and talked about her personal journey and the government failures that the main character has observed and she herself has, and it closes on one gut punch of an ending. Some of the stuff that I started over on Hulu would be Snowfall, which is a series that a lot of people have recommended, and I'm very excited to binge this one, as well as Demon Slayer, because a lot of people have been telling me to get into anime, and this is one of the big ones that gets recommended to me the most, and I know they have a movie out, so I'm excited to, just finish both of these. But my only question to y'all is, should I stream Cruel Summer, since I know that one is over on Hulu at the moment? Amazon had a decent month of selections, but they also had the one that was. Before that one, though, let me shout out Frank of Ireland, that stars the Gleasons, practically the entire family, in this comedy about a struggling musician who lives with his mums and hangs out with his friend named Doofus, and they just get into shenanigans. It's not the funniest show, but it's short enough and full of movie references that I thought it made it worth a decent watch in the background. Amazon, as well as Hulu, are also streaming Spontaneous, which was an existential comedy from last year about a high school where students just start combusting. I really like the dark humor in this one. I like the editing and the fact that, considering everything going on now, this resonates way more than it should. I do wish that more high school comedies were rated R, so the characters actually come off like high schoolers, but I'm very curious to see what this filmmaking team does next.
I have a moment for you where I knew I liked you.
You like me? I'm just so glad I didn't explode all over you.
Clapboard Jungle is a documentary about the film business and what it takes to get your movies funded, seen, and how finishing a movie is damn near an impossible task. I appreciate Justin's approach as a director and the subject of the doc to leave it all out there, mistakes, his ego, his failures, and it is an interesting look at the festival circuit from the deal-making side of it, while everyone's munching on popcorn, It is a business convention where people are pitching your film as a product to sell, while also fighting to maintain that artistic aspect of your work. I get the vlog style, but I think reshooting a couple takes or setting up the camera at a better angle would have been beneficial, especially during the moments when he's giving good advice. The personal side of the doc may be depressing, but if you're interested in filmmaking and want to see a little more about how the sausage is made, there are some great interviews in this bad boy.
Making movies is beautiful. Prepping them, raising the money, selling them is horrible.
Invincible is the best thing on Amazon right now. Easily. I read the original comic series back in the day that comes from Walking Dead creator Robert Kirkman, and I absolutely loved it. The show is brutal, it's funny, and it's a perfect companion to The Boys, if you love that show, that dissects superheroes in a raw way that only animation can, and I highly recommend it. April wasn't Netflix's greatest month, but they've been consistent on releasing new movies weekly and are banking on some pretty big properties. There was Concrete Cowboy that originally premiered at TIFF, starring Idris Elba, Jarrell Jerome, and Lucas from Stranger Things. It follows a rebellious kid who's sent to live with his father, who he hasn't seen in years, and he learns to build a sense of community through writing. It stars some of the real-life cowboys of Philadelphia, the same way that Charm City Kings did the real-life bikers of Baltimore, as both show the freedom that it gives them in the midst of all of their tribulation. But I will say that this one, it did the accents better. Shadow and Bone is the YA adaptation that they want to be the next Harry Potter and Thrones Light, and they got the dude who wrote Arrival to showrun it. It takes place in this world where the magical Grisha have been divided by this wall of fog, as the main character Alina is discovered to be a sun summoner, someone so powerful that people consider her to be a saint. But I didn't really care about that aspect at all. The cool part to me was the storyline with the crows, since they're not meant to be the chosen ones. They're just this group of outcasts who are just, trying to get by through their particular set of skills. The entire trilogy has been written alongside with 2 duologies that take place in the same world, so I am pretty curious to see how they expand on this, because if you've seen your favorite YouTuber talking about the show, it's because their PR company knows what they're doing. The Mitchells vs. the Machines is a new animation produced by Lord & Miller, and it's directed by a couple of the dudes who worked on Gravity Falls. Sony originally called the title Connected, since it follows a family road trip as they drop their daughter off at college, only to get attacked by the same technology they were trying to fast from, since an AI uprising occurs. It's college road trip meets The Terminator, and has some of the zaniest animation, with so much happening on screen that I'm glad it's on Netflix so that I can pause and catch all the Easter eggs.
Starting now. See, this is good right here. This is natural.
Streamlining through some of the other streamers, there was Disney, who did have Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I would give that a junior price if it was a movie, but really what they keep doing is just having you pay for the Disney Plus subscription just to catch like the one Marvel show, because other than Falcon, what am I going to watch? Big Shot with John Stamos? Apple TV had a conversation with Oprah. I guess they also have the show For All Mankind that's on its second season, but like, man, even YouTube's beating you out with their own demi show. That's not only bringing in more viewers, it's even higher rated. Peacock got all of the WWE content, and I know that was a big boost for them in April, but I'm very curious to see how the Universal 17-day theatrical window to VOD thing goes, because that should be giving Peacock a really big boost if they're able to take their massive movies and really be able to push their service. Shudder had Joe Bob's Last Drive-In, and I know that they've been posting a lot of the old episodes and seasons up, and I'm new to this. Honestly, the best part about this isn't just the commentary, but the community, because I learned about this from all the people who were live tweeting the show as it was premiering. So I just want to say, the horror community, unbeatable. There was Movie that had Labyrinth of Cinema, Nobuyuko Obayashi's final film that I caught at Fantasia last year, and if you thought House was a lot, man, this man puts every filmic device possible on screen and causes a sensory overload. There are a lot of thematic elements that relate to the history of Japan and how the medium of movies has been used, and while 90% of it went over my head, it was still a trippy ride to go on if you're looking for something different. Criterion had the exclusive premiere to Mayor, which I caught at Doc NYC last year, and it follows Musa Hadid, the mayor of Ramallah, who wants his city to have a bright future and is hyper-focusing on what slogan they're going to have on the license plates, because that's the motto that will define them. While he's also struggling to get bathrooms installed for certain sections of the town. It's an interesting look at Middle Eastern bureaucracy, and I think it's worth the stream. To wrap it up though, I want to shout out the free streamers. We're big fans of Hoopla, because you just, sign up with your library card and you're good to go. And recently I caught the doc I Want My MTV, which looks back at the rise of the channel and the influence that it had on musicians, filmmakers, and honestly the way viewers consumed media.
I want my MTV!
Finally, there's Tubi, easily the best streamer out there that's adding dozens of stuff every day for free, including this little movie that I bought only for Tubi to get it the following week. It's called Baby Done, and it's a New Zealand comedy that Taika Waititi executive produced about a couple who gets pregnant. But while the dude is ready for it, Zoe still has a couple of boxes she wants to check off for life before giving life.
Married, house, baby, done. Oh my God.
I think it's a solid rent it, and Tubi now has it for free. But what's crazy is that Tubi isn't just taking some movies and licensing them, they're getting ready to move into the original content category as well. So if you don't know, we are 100% in the midst of the streaming wars with so many films, so many shows being produced that it's going to be impossible to capture them all in one given month. But I'll be here scoping out the best of the best for y'all. Thank you all for watching this video, and a big shout out to Grammarly, the digital writing assistant, for sponsoring this one. I've been using the free version since my high school days in order to help out with basic spelling suggestions, but the premium version? Ooh. Grammarly Premium comes with dope features to help you save time, such as vocabulary suggestions, which helps you find more effective words in order to make your writing more compelling. Premium also offers clarity suggestions that helps you avoid repeating yourself, so you're not repeating yourself. And the browser extension works seamlessly, so you never let an error slip. When it comes to my press emails, festival submissions, and YouTube copyright, Grammarly has helped to make sure I don't have any silly spelling mistakes, punctuation problems, or goofy grammar that may cause any confusion. There's a reason 30 million people use it for their emails, all the way up to their important assignments, and I mean, I use it to book this sponsor right here. So if you're interested in saving time on your work and emails with Grammarly, then head on over to Grammarly.com/letmeexplain to sign up for a free account and get 20% off Grammarly Premium today to help you save time and work more efficiently. Again, thank you all for watching this video, and with theaters slowly coming back, it's going to be interesting to see how studios balance what goes to cinemas and what goes to streaming. When will it become too much for a single person to consume? But like I said, I'll be here trying to get it all. Just give me your recommendations, anything that you think should be on my radar. Let me know of any other streaming services that you suggest or are curious about, and until next time, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll send you a recliner for all that binging.